Hello and welcome to the Tough Cover Podcast right here today on Thursday, May 13th. I am your host, Mark Henry Jr., and you can follow the podcast at Tough Cover Pod, and you can follow me on Twitter at Mark Henry Jr. _ You can follow the Painted Lines on Twitter at The Painted Lines, and please subscribe wherever you're watching this on YouTube or Twitch. Thanks for joining us for our first show in about a week due to some technical errors that you may have saw on the Daily Dose with Dylan Davis. But we are back and better than ever. And on today's show, we will go over my 6 favorite bets for tonight, 5 of which are in Major League Baseball. And we will go over my action from last night and even give you a guest pick from my buddy, Pat Moran, otherwise known as Patty Player Props, who you've seen on this show before. But before we can get there, let's throw it over to a word from our sponsors over at BetRivers, and I'll be on the other side with my picks for tonight. If you have any picks, leave them in the comments, and hang tight for a word from our sponsors at BetRivers.
Hey, what's up, guys? MLB baseball is in full swing. The NBA and NHL playoffs are right around the corner, and the NFL season is mere moments away. While we here at the Painted Lines are devoted to bringing you top-notch content from all the major sports, we are excited to also now give you the opportunity to cash in on all that content and knowledge. If you follow the link below, you will have the opportunity to sign up with BetRivers, an online sportsbook, and get an instant new user deposit match of up to $250. That's free money that you can use and try to turn into more free money. Let's go. Don't sit there and waste all that money. Turn every basket into an otherwise meaningless Cavs-Timberwolves matchup in on a random Wednesday in March. That makes it all the more exciting. For betting tips and advice, be sure to check out written content from our top prognosticator, Money Max, on our website at thepaintedlines.com, or check out the Tough Cover Podcast right here on the Painted Lines YouTube channel. You've seen the commercials all over TV and radio, but now is the time. Sign up today with BetRivers using the link below and start cashing in on your love for sports. Using the link below will automatically inform BetRivers that TPL sent you, and you'll get that new user deposit match of up to $250. Don't miss out on this opportunity for some free money, baby.
Don't miss out on that opportunity, like Dive said. So we're going to dive into today's show. We're going to talk a little bit about my action from last night, where that puts us in May. Then we're going to get to my picks. And then before we get out of here, I'm going to give you Pat Moran's pick. He has a couple player props for you. I don't get into that stuff that often, so his looked very interesting today, and they looked perfectly reasonable from at least a trends perspective. So I'm going to give that out right after I go through mine. But we're going to talk about last night, and I went 3-1 last night, up 3.5 units. So that puts us at 27-20 in May, up 2.5 units. We had a great first week, a really bad second week. I think we're going to get back on track with last night, and we're going to go over a couple of games. The Cubs lost 2-1 in extra innings. They had first and third with no outs. Tough loss. You really would have liked to see the Cubs score one in extra innings there to give themselves a chance. But then, we won the rest of our games. That was a day game, and I had 3 night bets. I went, I better go 2-1 in these. Ended up going 3-0. The Phillies come back in extra innings, win 5-2. The White Sox blow out the Twins. 13-8 is honestly a little closer than what that score was. White Sox against lefties, you got to hammer it every single time. And we're going to be talking about the White Sox, as you can see their hat behind me. And also with the St. Louis Blues winning 4-0 in an absolute whopping blowout of the Minnesota Wild, which they were up 3-0 right away. So I didn't even have to tune into that game, which is always nice. So we're going to get to my picks from today. Actually, before we get to my picks today, let's give the guest pick up at the top, since we got a bunch of people watching right now. So let's bring in Pat Moran's 2 strikeout props. He's been really good at this. He's over 5.5 on Charlie Morton's strikeouts today against the Toronto Blue Jays at 12.20, and then he's under 5.5 strikeouts thrown by Patrick Corbin at 105 versus the Phillies. He did this for a parlay. I don't see the odds here, but it's a pretty profit. It's at least plus 300 or 400. So he did that as a parlay, but I'm sure he would suggest it also as 2 straight bets. since it's minus 155 and minus 137. It might make more sense as a parlay, but Patrick Corbin has not gone over 5.5 all season, and Morton has done it every start besides the last one and his first start of the season where he had 5. So 5 out of the 7 for Morton, and Corbin hasn't done it yet. Those are Pat's research and words and his picks. Those are his 2 weirdo player props today because he's got to bet like a weirdo. I think he said he likes the Mariners too. So take of that what you will. But we are getting back to my picks. 27 and 20 in May, up 2.5 units. I did not do the math with March, April, and May. I'll do that for tomorrow. But we're going to start it out with the team that's on my hat, the team that's on my hoodie, the Philadelphia Phillies. And I'm going with them money line at the Washington Nationals at 105 for 2 units. The Phillies have won their first road series since September of 2019. Shout out Gabe Kapler. Patrick Corbin has been terrible the last 2 years, especially this year. And Eflin is having his best season of his career. The Phillies absolutely rake lefties. Pretty much the entire Phillies lineup, besides Andrew McCutchen, has been very good against Patrick Corbin for their careers if they've had experience against him. Which leads me to my next bet in the same game, which is Phillies team total over 4 runs for 1.5 units. Like I said, they've had tremendous success against Patrick Corbin and lefties in general. They've scored 5+ in their last 2 games against the Nationals in this series, and in 4 of their last 5 games overall, and in 6 of their last 9. Nice. But the Phillies have still, even in those games that we've been scoring enough runs to go over a team total like this, we have been stranding runners and still getting on the board, even though last night was in extras and was only due to a 9th inning home run by Odubel Herrera and then the extra innings rules and a couple errors. But that's how the cookie crumbles. I thought we'd get after John Lester way more in the regular part of the game and in his start in his 6 or 7 innings, however far he went. But I'd be surprised to see the Phillies have 2 lefties have solid success against them in back-to-back days. Seems unlikely to me, and I would go with the Phillies money line and team total over. Money line for 2 units, team total over for 1.5 units. So we are getting to my best bet on the board at 140, and this game is on YouTube, so everyone can watch it. It's my best bet of the day for 3.5 units. I have the St. Louis Cardinals plus 115 over the Milwaukee Brewers on the road for 3.5 units. You see the Arenado shirt up behind me. I'm a big Arenado fan, so I have a soft spot for the Cardinals. But this is quite simple. Jack Flaherty is 6-0 with a 2.83 ERA. I get Corbin Burnes has a 1.53, but I'll still gladly take Flaherty for the rest of the way this season and so far this year because he hasn't lost a game. The Cardinals, who have the best record in baseball, or had the best record of baseball going into last night, they don't anymore. But I think Flaherty on the mound with a better team, in my opinion, with the Cardinals than the Brewers, getting plus 115 is a tremendous value. The Brewers roster bats .208 against Jack Flaherty for their careers with a .635 OPS. The Cardinals roster, on the other hand, bats .254 for their career against Corbin Burnes with an .858 OPS. Before last night's loss, they had won 4 straight, and I expect the Cardinals to get back on track and get their record to 8-0 in games Flaherty starts, and hopefully Flaherty gets the decision and the win to get to 7-0. My Cardinals to win their division, the NL, and to go over their win total bets that I gave out before the year on the Tough Cover podcast are all looking great, and I expect that to continue today. And with my last day baseball pick at 210, I have another team total. I have White Sox team total over 3.5 runs. How many units do I have? For 2 units I have this for. They're red hot even while missing 2/3 of their outfield, which are 2 of their best batters in their lineup, and they're going to be missing them for a long time. So they've gotten used to it. Usually I would just take the White Sox here, money line or whatever you want to say, first 5. But they've had some success. The Twins have had some success against Lance Lynn. So I went this way because the White Sox have had a lot of success, even more success against Michael Pineda, batting .304 with an .880 OPS in 74 plate appearances. But really, more so than a pick against Pineda, this is a pick backing the recent red-hot streak of the White Sox offense. You may also look into over 7 in general, but I prefer over 3.5 team total for the White Sox. So at 7-10, my only night baseball pick for Thursday is a matchup of 2 heavyweights. So I've got both their hats here, little Lee Corso situation. I love betting both of these teams. Usually I wouldn't take a side. It's like the Yankees-Rays game tonight. I'm not touching it. I would usually take the Rays with Rich Hill on the mound, but I can't go against the Yankees with how good they've been lately. But when you look at this matchup a little deeper, and you look at the pitching matchup with Sean Manaea versus Garrett Richards, it swings me a certain way. Sorry, Boston. Sorry, Pablo, if you're watching, Jason Bedoya. But I got to go with the Oakland Moneyball A's money line for 2 units. The A's are 6-1 in games started by Sean Manaea. The Red Sox back 240 against Sean Manaea as a collective, which includes a no-hitter from a few years ago for some of these guys. So that's really the reason that I like the A's here. The Red Sox are 3-4 in Garrett Richards starts, which says a lot about Garrett Richards because they have a top offense in baseball, and run support has certainly not been an issue for the Boston Red Sox with 2 leading RBI getters in Major League Baseball with J.D. Martinez and my boy Rafael Devers, who I have a future on to lead the league in RBIs, so hopefully he gets there. But run support has not been an issue, and Garrett Richards has still been under 500 in games that he's started for the Red Sox. So really, I'm going with Sean Manaea over Richards here for the A's to get to an amazing 7-1 in starts with Sean Manaea, which is a little different than 3-4 or 3-5 with Garrett Richards. So that concludes my baseball picks, and I have a special bonus pick here, a Marky Pucks special at 8 o'clock. The St. Louis Blues money line, -100 versus the Minnesota Wild for 1 unit. Completing the St. Louis duo here with the Cardinals and Blues, both on my card. I've taken the Blues the last 2 games, and they've won both games, so I'm a loyal man and a loyal gambler, and Marky Pucks is feeling hot with the Blues. Last time this happened, they won the Stanley Cup, and the song Gloria, which is an absolute banger, by the way, was back on the charts. So let's recap my picks here before we get out of here. Pat Moran likes I believe under 5.5 strikeouts for Charlie Morton, I botched it again. Over 5.5 strikeouts for Charlie Morton and under 5.5 strikeouts for Patrick Corbin were Pat Moran's guest picks. And then also going with my picks on the board today, I like the Phillies money line -110 for 2 units at the Washington Nationals. I have Phillies team total over 4 runs for 1.5 units at the Washington Nationals. I have the St. Louis Cardinals +115 on the money line at the Milwaukee Brewers for 3.5 units. I have the Chicago White Sox team total over 3.5 runs for 2 units at 210. And then my night baseball pick, I have the Oakland A's -110 for 2 units over the Boston Red Sox. And then at 8 o'clock, I have the St. Louis Blues money line -100 versus the Minnesota Wild. So those are my picks for the night. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you for being a part of the Tough Cover Click. Please join us again tomorrow. I'm going to try to come back tomorrow early in the morning. I think there's some day games again. So thank you for joining us. You can follow me at MarkHenry Jr. _ You can follow the pod at Tough Cover Pod. And you can follow the Painted Lines at the Painted Lines. And you can subscribe wherever you are watching this on YouTube or Twitch. And everybody, enjoy the winners.